Welcome, everyone. I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening for the Early Childhood Education webinar here at Ikon. My name is Ivan. I'm one of the course advisors here at Ikon Institute. Tonight, we'll be covering a lot of information from diploma all the way up to the masters in this field. I'd like to welcome our school dean, Dr. Damian Spencer. Annie will be joining us a little bit later. She is our student ambassador. Also in the background, we will have Nikki, who is our other course advisor as well. She'll be answering our questions through the chat. So feel free to add your questions there, and we'll aim to get those answers. Well, Nikki will aim to get the answers for you, and anything important that we feel that everyone should know, we'll definitely bring it up here. Okay, so feel free to add your questions there. Okay, so look, it's a very good chance that we'll cover these questions throughout the presentations. This webinar will be recorded and we'll email you those links tomorrow. Just feel free to enjoy your evening, enjoy this webinar at this time. You can always go back to the recording and if there's anything you miss, and of course, if there's any question you have that popped up middle of the night, or we didn't get a chance to answer them today, certainly feel free to reach out to one of us, our course advisor here, and we'll do what we can to assist you with your questions and any guidance that you need. We'll get started. I would like to introduce to you Dr. Damian Spencer. Take it away, Damian.
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name's Dr. Damian Spencer. I'm the Dean of Ikon Institute and also currently acting Head of School of Education. So we have 4 campuses around Australia: Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, and we offer all of our courses at all of these locations. And we also have some online offerings as well for those who prefer not to study on campus. But regardless of whether you study on campus or off, you're welcome to always come in and introduce yourself, say hi to us, make use of our resources and facilities. It's something that we focus a lot on, is making sure that our courses are very hands-on, practical. So we've got big resource rooms and lots of activities to help you in your early childhood learning journey. As you can see on the slide, we have 4 courses on offer, depending on what it is that you want to get out of your studies. Everything from the diploma all the way up to a master. We'll talk about this a bit later, but the main difference is that the diploma leads to early childhood education, whereas the bachelor onwards is early childhood teaching. The diploma is 2 years, the bachelor 2 years. You could, if you want, start in the diploma, and then if you find you really enjoyed it, you can then transition into the bachelor and get 2 years credit, and then go straight into completing the bachelor. And technically you can do it the other way around as well. You can start in the bachelor, you get 2 years in and think, oh, I'm happy with the diploma. You can exit with the diploma. So we have those flexible options. We also have an accelerated pathway. This is a specific course only for domestic students currently working in the industry. And we can certainly provide more information if you're interested in that. But that's people that are qualified, diploma qualified educators who want to upskill and get that bachelor. We do have a particular offering for you, but there are some criteria. You have to be working in a centre for a certain length of time, but it is certainly an option. The Master of Teaching ends in the same outcome. It's a bit unusual. You could do a master, you could do a bachelor, and the outcome from both is you are able to be an early childhood teacher. But as you would expect, the master has a bit of a higher level study involved with it. We assume you've probably done a bachelor before in something else, doesn't have to be early childhood. And so the level of thinking required from the master is a little bit higher, but the outcome is the same. You become, you gain initial teacher qualification. All the courses are accredited. They're accredited by TEXA, who is our regulator, and they're also accredited by ASIQA, which is and I always forget the acronym, the Australian Children's Education and Care Quality Authority. So they were all. No, I cheated. I looked it up on my notes here. So they're all accredited by both the Higher Education Authority and the Early Childhood Authority. There's a lot of information on these slides. You can go back and have a look later. I will just point out that last column is something we're mandated to do, but something we're also very proud of, that you do spend time in industry, and there's a certain number of placement days that you have to do, working in a early childhood setting, and it's quite regulated. There's times you have to spend in a room with children that are 0 to 2 years old, and then other times you have to spend time in a room with children 3 to 5 years old. And so we give you those opportunities throughout all 4 courses. So it's not sitting in a classroom theory based, although there is a little bit of that, of course, but you will, no matter what course you choose, be able to spend time, as I say, on the floor in an early childhood setting. Ivan, unless you have other comments to make about this slide, I guess we can move on. But I think you're still on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, no, I did have some few things in my mind, but you ended up saying it anyway. Maybe tell us the difference between what an educator is and what a teacher is in this industry.
Yeah, there's not a lot of difference, but it really depends on what job you have. And of course, with that comes what salary you have. But typically the early childhood educators are support in a early childhood setting. The early childhood teachers are the ones that develop the curriculum and actually run the programs. So in a typical early childhood setting, centre, you might have one, possibly 2 teachers, and all the rest would be educators. In a kindergarten, it might be a few more of the teachers. So they have days off the floor in an office where they're developing the program, developing the curriculum. They have a few higher extra responsibilities, whereas the ones day to day that are looking after children are the educators.
Okay, great. Thank you. Not too sure if we're going to cover this later on down the track, but I'll mention it now while it's on my mind. Regarding the placements, we do encourage you to find your own to start up with. However, we do have a team of people who looks after the placement, so you can always reach out to us if you do find anything challenging. Is that right, Damian?
That's exactly right. We've got a big placement team that will do their best to find a placement for you. But it would be great if perhaps you're already working in a centre, or maybe you have some contacts. You are welcome to put that forward, and that helps us. But equally, we have a large network of providers where we can place you. We try and look at your postcode where you live, that you give it to us when you apply for the course, and we'll try and find a centre nearby. Sometimes you have to travel a little bit. We try and find you a centre within an hour, which I think in Melbourne and Sydney at least is pretty reasonable. Most of us have to travel about an hour to get to work, but we'll do our best. But if you happen to have your own placement, that would be even better.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know your area quite well in what Damian's saying, that you probably have contacts already. But yeah, we do encourage you to find your own placement, and that just gives you a good a good heads up as well, because there's a very good chance you find those placements, gives, showing initiative, and there's a very high possibility that where you've done your placement is where you will potentially get your employment once you complete your qualification. I think I'm done. Okay, so talking about the current domestic student scholarships, we do have a handful, as you can see there. We've got the Master of Teaching currently at 10% scholarship. For our trimester two, 2026, we do have a 50% scholarship for our Bachelor of Early Childhood Education, and any alumni we have there is a 20% scholarship available for all our courses. Next slide.
Yeah, I can talk to
You do
this.
that
So
one?
yeah,
Yeah.
as
Okay.
I mentioned before, we have those 4 campuses around Australia. Um, And yeah, as I said, they're all decked out. I'm actually still sitting here on the Melbourne campus at the moment, and right next door to me is a huge range of yeah, we've got books, we've got toys, resources. We've even got little corners of the classroom set up so we can yeah, mimic that realistic early childhood centre. Um, I was running a class last week where we were doing music and dance, and how dance helps children's development. And so we have a whole lot of puppets and things like that help in that learning. We do, however, also have online learning. Um, I personally, I love a face-to-face relationship. I think there's something really important about coming on campus and spending time in a classroom with other students. But maybe that doesn't suit your particular uh, um, circumstances, and so we are able to offer online learning as well. Talk to your course advisors about how that might work. Regardless, you can't do the placement online, so you have to be able to go to a centre and do the placement. But for most of the other subjects, I would almost say all the other subjects, but I would say just check in with us before I can guarantee that. But at least most of the other subjects can be done in that online mode. It's not self-paced online. Um, it would be you'd be expected to, a bit like right now, log into Zoom or Teams and complete the class online with your lecturer. Um, some of them are in the evening, so that helps if you've got a job during the day. You can then study in the evening. Unfortunately, we can't make all the classes in the evening, so some of them are on during the day as well. So you would have to log in whatever your timetable says, Tuesday 1 p.m., and you interact and engage with your lecturer as you do your lecture and tutes. I did mention at the start the accelerated course is a little bit different though. That is entirely online, and that one is a bit self-paced. We ask that you work through the material at your own pace, and then you have check-in sessions every week. You'll check in with the lecturer for each subject, and that one's only during the evening because we understand that's people that are currently working. I think I've talked enough about placements, but yes, they will be completed in a block. It
Yeah.
might be a case of so in the bachelor you have a placement at second, third, and fourth year. In masters, they typically happen 2 placements in the second year, although you might find one at the end of the first year, and you might have a situation a bit like 6 weeks and 4 days a week for those 6 weeks. So you try and complete that placement in a block.
Excellent. And I guess just something to add, what you'll find is if you are considering studying online, what you'll find is actually quite interactive as well. Your online classes are designed so that it's predominantly hands-on workshops, question and answer sessions, group activities, and so on. So it's not just a matter of sitting there and just listening to a lecturer. I guess it's kind of like what you're doing now, but I can assure you it would be a lot more interactive, as if that you would be experiencing as if you're going to a face-to-face campus. Next slide.
Yeah, so this I can talk to this as well, and this is probably what you're all here for tonight, is because you're thinking about your career and where you want to go next. So I think it's really important if you are really keen to study to pick the right course for you. And as we have kind of already gone over the difference between an educator and a teacher, but the diploma will lead you to be an educator in a range of facilities. We've got some listed there: daycare, family care, occasional care, all the way up to kindergarten. it's anything short of school. Um, if you want to be able to teach in a school, that's a separate qualification. That's Bachelor of Teaching Primary. But anything from the ages 0 to 5, that diploma will absolutely help you. As I mentioned, the Bachelor and Master in some ways has the same outcome, but the Master does have a bit more recognition, I guess, a bit more gravitas, just because it is a postgrad qualification. But they both give you that initial teacher qualification. So same thing. You want to work in daycare, preschool, and if you want to be perhaps more of a leader. Some of our graduates are currently centre directors. They finished the bachelor and they're now running a centre. So if that's something that you have in mind, that bit more of an aspirational leadership target, then absolutely consider the bachelor and or the master. Um, maybe you want to become like us and be lecturers one day as well. I find it a really rewarding job being a teacher of other early childhood students myself, and so maybe you want to become an academic, and in which case I would recommend the Master of Teaching for that pathway as well. But you're probably all here tonight because you do have a love for children, and you are probably thinking about that early childhood setting. I will just perhaps finish off by one extra point of saying that our staff are a combination of people that used to work in early childhood settings and have decided to make that switch to academia, and current practitioners. So at least half of our staff part-time work in a centre. So they understand what it's like. They have that real world experience. And I suppose they also understand the flexibility that's required to, if you're currently working and want to study at the same time, a lot of them are in the same position and understand what balancing study and work is all about.
I can take this one here. So we do have plenty of support available. It will be the front line would be someone like me who is the course advisor. So any questions at all, about the course, any guidance that you need. Um, and we're here to help you and answer any questions. And once you do enroll, our job will also to help you in making sure your enrollment goes through as smoothly as possible. Once you are enrolled, or if you do have any questions about your logins, or your timetable. We have the student experiences as well as the academic support team that can help you, facilities and resources, and we've got a modern classroom facilities, and it's all well equipped, dedicated to this study spaces, and of course you've got your online resources as well. We've got the digital library that you'll have full access to through your panels. And look, any support that you need, academic, we have all that available within your reach. Next slide. You want to do that one, or you want me to do it? Myself? Okay, cool. All right. I guess what makes Ikon special. We're one of the leading institute of early childhood education in Australia. You'll be learning from expert academic for years of industry experience. Damian has covered that, and you'll find that half, or if not most of the lecturers we have either currently or recently has been in the industry for many years, so they can definitely give you some guidance along the way. It's a very supportive culture you'll find, and you'll be connected with over 400 industry partners. High level of graduate employment. Many of the placement partners are often graduate positioned to study where they have worked with. That's going back to the placement. And again, encouraging you to find your placement first. We are there for your support if you do find anything challenging, if you do find placement challenging. But yes. All right, fantastic. So we will have Annie Pham, who is one of our student advisors. Is she with us?
Hi everyone, my name is Annie, and
Hello.
how are you? So I just
Good,
finished work
good.
and quickly hop on right here to maybe share some of my insight with you guys. I'm currently studying the Bachelor of Early Childhood Education at Ikon. I'm on my final year now. One more term left, so very excited to finish. But I just want to share with you a bit about why I chose Ikon. I chose Icon because I wanted a degree that is very practical. Like Icon has a lot of placement, which I like because it helps me to gain real life knowledge. And at the same time, Icon has a strong focus on hands-on learning. So our throughout all our units, most of the time, we had excursion, we had a lot of resources, there were a lot of books and resources at the campus that very supportive to our study. And when talking about work and study, it was still my biggest challenge because I work and study at the same time. I would suggest you also do the same thing if you have the opportunity, because what your work and your study will very complement each other to help you gain knowledge and also experience at the same time. It's very hard to balance it though, but it's I think it's okay. What I've learned is just to set priorities. As some week my study would come first, but now I'm on my term break, so I get to prioritize my work. Um, you just gotta try your best to finish it on time. Try not to submit late, and take it easy on yourself, I would say. Out of all the units, I like art unit the most. It was very, very interactive. We get to make our own art project actually. So in this subject, I designed my own passion project with a group of friends. Visit art galleries, excursion, which was my favorite part of the degree. It's also made me deeply think about art, not just as an expression, but also a way to teach children as well. I love art, and this unit is not just allow me to teach children art, but also gaining a deeper understanding of it myself. So it's something that I know will really shape how I teach in the future. About placement, placement has been very rewarding. I I got I got offered a position during my first um, placement experience was the first year. So I highly recommend you finding your place to for placement and trying to get in as early as possible. It gave me the chance to apply everything I've learned in class real world setting. I got to see how children think, play, express themselves, and it really helps me confirm why I chose this. I also appreciate the feedback from educators during placement as well. They also give you a lot of feedback on your work, and it helps you to improve your practice of a teacher as a teacher. This hands-on experience makes me feel more prepared and confident as I continue my degree. And looking back at my journey, almost 4 years studying early childhood education, the placement really changed my perspective in working with children, in guiding them in their learning as well. And my future goal is to be, of course, a highly skilled and reflective teacher. Someone I have a passion about inclusive environments. That is something that I noticed I grow during like the second half of my degree. At the first journey, as a new teacher, I don't really know, okay, what's my purpose, what's my mission, what I'm passionate about. But you figure it out with the help from lecturer, from Icon, and from placement as well. You will figure out your own mission, your own passion, why you want to do this, and what you want to focus on, because early childhood education is a very broad sector as well. And I love to eventually step into leadership, of course, to contribute to curriculum, advocate for, oh, sorry, advocate for children and educator as well. I do believe in providing equitable access to education for all children. So ultimately, I see my degree as a good foundation for me to step into that position later on, where I can broaden my impact on children, family, and the early childhood community as well. So that's a little bit about my journey at Icon. Studying bachelor has been challenging, let alone master if you want to continue with that. But it's definitely very, very rewarding. And I'm very excited for what lies ahead of me. And I'm very grateful for the community that values creativity, humanity, and education as much as I do here in Icon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Annie. Always nice to hear from you again. Luke, next slide. Alrighty. Okay, so now we can go through any questions that we have. This could be anything got to do with the admissions requirement, course structure, practical experiences, accreditation, accessibility, class size diversity, and student life. Anyone get any questions so far? I think we did pretty good, Damian. What do you think? Okay, I might have a question for Annie. What was the difference between your first year or your diploma compared to the next half, which is more of the teaching side of your diploma or of your bachelor?
So when I get started with certificate, and it was a very basic introduction into the industry in general, as how you take care of children, what are the um, a sequel, what are the framework is. It touched base on pretty much everything that you need to become an educator, how to take care of a child. But when it comes to bachelor, it's more heavily academic, which means we go deeper into different curriculum area. You actually gain knowledge on how to plan a curriculum in art, in science, in technology. It's very holistic, which means it covers all area. I've went through it all. I've went through science, digital technology, arts, drama, music, all of that. So it gives you a deeper insight into what a teacher would be like, because then you would be qualified as a teacher, which means they have um, a certain standard that you need to meet as a teacher. Yes, need to support children in gaining understanding in different area as well. And with my diploma, okay, one of my very noticeable, sorry, so in diploma, when I look into sustainability, for example, I would just look at, okay, is recycle to protect environment, right? But in bachelor, I dig deeper into sustainability. It's also about society as well, social aspect of sustainability, which something makes me realize, oh, I did not really notice about this in diploma. So it actually gives you a deeper knowledge as you dig deeper into the degrees.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, so I've got a few more questions coming up. Um, okay, so what if you were in a different industry and want to jump into working in childhood education? How do I know it's good for me? Well, that's really it comes down to you, isn't it? It would be your passion working for children. It's very common for many people who I speak with on a day-to-day basis about this course. A lot of most, if not most of them, are in that transition, career change, and want something that's meaningful, something they're more passionate about. But yes, so I guess that all comes down to you whether or not it's the right thing for you. And I think you inquire in the first place. And I think that's already a good step to get started, knowing whether or not this is for you. Asking about fee help, yes, definitely fee help is available for you, which is government loan support. Um, if you don't know fee help, if you understand how HECS work, if you understand vet fees, as long as you're an Australian citizen, um, as long as you haven't exceeded your government loan limit, and you're doing a nationally accredited course, which we covered that we are, then fee help will certainly be available for you, and it's quite easy. Part of your application would be after putting on the details, and one of the questions would be, did you along the line of, are you wanting to use fee help? As long as you answer yes to that on our end, we'll be setting all that up for you. All you need to do is just approve that. See if I've got any other questions. One second. Actually, Damian, I'm not too sure if you can answer this one. With the accreditation, once I complete the master in teaching, would I need to register myself with the VIT in Victoria?
Yeah, so that depends per state. So I assume that question's coming from someone in Victoria.
Yes.
But yes, yeah, you are eligible for VIT registration in Victoria. It's not necessary in every state, so I'd say to look up your own state rules. But completion of the Master of Teaching does make you eligible for VIT registration.
Excellent. Next question, how many students are in per class? Maybe we can talk about online and in campus as well. Would you know that?
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter whether you're online or on campus. The class sizes are about the same, which is around the 30 mark. Sometimes you go up to about mid-30s, sometimes down to around 20. Yeah, that's certainly very different to the way I studied at university. We have big lecture halls of 400 students. That's probably one of the big benefits of a private higher ed institution like Ikon.
That's right.
We focus on the teaching and we make sure those class sizes are small and manageable. And although we still occasionally use the phrase lecture, we're phasing it out because the days of someone standing at the front of the class and talking to you for 2 hours, they're long gone. They're all classes, they're workshops, they're times for you to interact with other fellow students doing an activity, listen to a bit of theory, put it into practice. And to do that, you've got to keep the classes to a manageable size. So yeah, around the 30 mark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that's actually quite a common thing. I guess when people think that they're coming to class, all they're going to do is just listen to the lecturers as well as online. I can imagine how it would be just listening, being there for 2 or 3 hours and just listening to someone chat. What you'll find is that yes, it's very interactive, and yes, you do a lot of group work, and even though you do decide that you are doing this course online, you have a lot of group activities. So you do have that same experience where you get to know your colleagues and other people and build up relationship there and build up contacts. And yeah, so I don't think you would be disadvantaged whether you do this course online or not. It's all really comes down to your preference, and it comes down to what would be available depending on your lifestyle. We've got a few more questions coming through. Damian, you may be able to answer this, or maybe Annie as well. What are the assessment like? So this is actually quite common. So we do have a lot of students inquiring about our course, and they haven't studied in a long, long time. So I guess what I can add to that is that pretty much piggybacking on what you're saying, Damien, that long gone the days where you're just listening to lecturers. Annie, you're nodding your head, thank you. So yeah, especially in this course here, you'll find it's very, very interactive, a lot of group activities. I think getting back into your studies would be pretty easy. Whether you decide to do it full-time or part-time, you may want to decide that you start off part-time and then determine which way you'd like to go. From next trimester onwards, you do have the first couple of weeks, give or take, to determine, let's say if you do decide to enroll in a full-time, which is typically 3 subjects, and if you find that it might be a bit too overwhelming, we can make all those changes there for you.
So
Damien, did you want to? Yes,
I
please.
can
Thank
add a
you.
little bit insights. So we have presentation, we have podcast, we have report, we have essay. So it's very diverse. Sometimes we have committee of practice, which means everyone putting the answer under the discussion board so that everyone can see the answer as well. So it's a mix of a lot of things, a mix of individual and group work as well. And for group work, you can either choose the people you would like to work with, or if you don't know anybody, you don't know anybody, you could ask lecturer to help you assign into groups. Because so on the first year, I didn't know anyone. Well, I'm lucky enough to get to know some of the people already, so I choose to work with them. But it's also a good opportunity for you to just, oh, could I join your groups and work with someone new? It's also a good opportunity for you to practice working with people as when you become an educator like me, you work with different people every day. It's a good chance to practice. But you can either choose or ask help from lecturer.
I don't have a
Damien,
lot to add to that. That was a really good
no.
answer. Yes,
Yeah, that was amazing.
we
Yeah.
don't do exams anymore. So there's none of those sitting in a cold, dark hall quietly scribbling down
Hopefully
information,
you remembered everything that you've learned in the last few months.
and then a week after you forget it all. But occasionally we do some small tests if we just need to test knowledge. But as Annie perfectly described, yeah, build a website, write a plan for a day in a centre, come up with an activity. Even one of them is design a room. What would a good room look like if you're looking at play and development? So all as very hands-on as we can.
Excellent. Excellent. I think that covers that.
So for one of the Q&A, so in my classroom, for one of the question talk about working full time as a single mom. So in my classroom, we have two moms, two moms who just have their little babies and study full time as a student. They work part time though, so I think you may have to choose if you work full time, part time study is good. But we have moms joining us, and um, I love that there has no quiz. There's like Damian said, yeah, it's mostly you write and you submit. And to me, I work part time, study full time. It's quite manageable. I have not missed the deadline, so I'm proud to say that. It's manageable, and I see all of the moms in my class as well. They also participate in the group assignment, contribute. They were able to make it on time as well. So I would say if they can manage it, you definitely can.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's really, really good information. Um, but yeah, I guess just to piggyback on that, going back to you can start off, you can enroll in a full time, but just know that nothing is written in stone. You every trimester you will have the opportunity to choose how many subjects that you want to do. You may want to start off, or if you do say enroll in a full time, but after the first couple of weeks you find out, you know what, this is probably going to be a bit too much. You can always reach out to us and say, look, maybe we can drop a subject or two. We would rather you enjoy the process than try to finish it quickly and just overwhelm yourself. And I think going at a good pace, and of course, if you do decide to drop down to a part-time studies. Next trimester, you can try again. You can always select full-time again and then play by ear whether or not you can manage the load that because every subject will be different. Would that be right, Annie? Every subject will probably be more would be more time consuming. What's the word I'm looking for? So you need to be more involved than other time. Would that be right saying that, Annie?
It's actually depend on the week. Like I would say the first
The
few
week as
weeks,
well, yeah.
it's just like it's lecturing. You have lightweight assessment, I would say, and it's getting heavier at the end of the trimester. I just went through 3 weeks with 8 assessment. It's quite overwhelming. But
Yeah,
so it's kind of get heavier at the end, so you're just trying to space it out. But you
yeah,
get the whole scope of what are your assignment you need to get done right at the start of the term, so you can plan it out beforehand. I would suggest to plan
hmm,
it out beforehand, and yeah, you because it's usually get heavy at the end of the term, and
yeah.
the placement unit is heavy, so you only get one subject with it. So Icon kind of help us balance it out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. And I guess what I always say is that look, especially if you haven't studied in a long time, you could do it as little as one subject. The hardest part about starting anything that's worthwhile doing is really that first step. Get that first trimester done, then therefore from there determine what works for you, what doesn't. You're the only one who'll be able to determine what kind of load that you can put on yourself. But don't be too hard on yourself, especially for all the mums out there who are the super mums, especially. So um, please take your time. We definitely want you to enjoy yourself, and we definitely want you to have this achievement under your belt. Um, Seeing if there's any other questions. Damian, is there any way, can you explain a bit more about any academic support, any one-on-one session? Do you have
Yeah, sure.
information that you can share?
So obviously, your number one port of call is your lecturer, and you have all that time in class, and they're also available outside class as well. So there is student consultation times that you can reach out. Of course, you're welcome to send them a message at any time you want, and they'll know everything about the subject because they're the teacher that's delivering it. But if you're finding, well, I need more support. What my teacher's giving me is great, but I haven't written more than 2 pages, in a long time, or I really don't know what an annotated bibliography is, or I'm not sure what references to look up in a library. You want that sort of academic support, then we do have that available as well
Great.
outside of the class. In fact, it's actually called that Academic Learning Support, ALS, and there's a whole team involved in that. They run regular workshops, so if that fits your schedule, you just log in and join the workshop, or you can reach out to them for a one-to-one session and just say, look, this is what I'm struggling with. I haven't done higher education studies for a long time, or maybe never, and I need a bit of support for this and this. It is an academic course. You do have to have your bibliography at the end. You have to make sure you're reading the right textbooks and journal articles, and sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming. And that's exactly what that division's for, is to really help you through that. They always get, I don't know if any of you ever use them, but they always get really good feedback from the students. Um, and
I
and
know we
and
have an AI. Sorry, I know we have an Studio City that when we after I've done my assignment, I'll put it up and it will give me feedback as well. It was very fast, very fast. Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's a piece of software that we've subscribed to, where you can upload your work, and it won't fix it for you, but it will say this is great. It is AI based, but here's some following things that you can take on board. So if you get your assignments done a couple of days early, use that Studiosity, get the feedback, and it really helps to fix your work. So we have the real staff that you can do one-to-one here on the campus, and we've got that AI-based software that can help you as well.
That's amazing. I didn't know about that. That's crazy. Yeah, that's great.
And I guess what we are talking about is academic support, but it's probably also worth mentioning all the welfare support as well, because often during your studies, there's times where it's not necessarily the writing that's the struggle, but it's your own emotions, it's perhaps some anxiety, and so we have that support as well. Yeah, free 24/7 online support if you're just saying, I need someone to talk to about how to balance my work life, how to meet deadlines. Life doesn't stop when study starts, so we also have that well-being support, and that's really important to us as well. We want our students to, a student that's thriving is usually a student that's well supported.
Absolutely. And I think the most important thing, just to piggyback on that, is there is going to be support. And you are going to find things challenging, but just know that there are people that can be there to help you and support you throughout. And anything that you'd need, we've got it all covered. Don't forget you've got your peers as well who can assist you if you do find things challenging as well. But yes, I think that will be the most important thing, is just to make sure it doesn't matter how big or small it is. It's just to reach out, and we all want the best for each other. What's something I was going to mention? I forgot. Should have wrote it down. But okay, no, that's all right.
I see one question about the course structure, which has been answered with a link to the website. So that's really good. But perhaps I could just talk about that for a couple of minutes if you want. The masters is 2 years. The first year is really about that foundation and curriculum, and understanding the theory and pedagogy, how children think, what happens in a brain between 0 and 5. It's when most of the wiring is set, and so it's all about how play can help the development, how different activities can help that development. And then the second year, it's a bit more specialised, and we move into the music, dance, drama, to the STEM, which I find fascinating. How you can do science. In fact, here we go. I've got a little robot bee here, and so this is one of the things we might give the students, and say how much you use a robot bee to do programming, and help 4 and 5-year-olds understand robotics. And so there's got little buttons here that you can put a little program into, and we think science and physics, you wouldn't be able to teach that to a 2 or 3-year-old, but you absolutely can. So yes, that happens in the second year. Creative arts, mathematics. You think about mathematics, all the counting that needs to happen, even just going to a shop, thinking about what food you eat, how you put your clothes on. There's numbers everywhere, and so that second year is the STEM, the maths, the numeracy, literacy, creative arts, and of course the placements. So that's a general overview of what the masters looks like.
I could share a little bit about so I'm on my last year now. This year, we learn about inclusive perspective. You really go deeper than just teaching. So you learn to advocate, you learn about inclusive practice, indigenous perspective as well, that can help you not just teach children, but also advocate for the education as well. So the very last PU term helps me find my mission, what I would like to focus on in the future. So for me, it's inclusive practice to ensure that all children, including not neurodivergent children, can get access to the same learning opportunity as other children as well. So some of my friends, their highlight would be leadership, but to me, it's inclusive practice. So you will develop your own philosophy, your own mission, your own reason why you want to do as well. So that was the highlight of my very last semester with the school.
Amazing. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Damien, for joining us. I don't think any more question is coming up. I think we covered everything, but of course, if you do come up with any more questions, you'll be either reach out to either myself or any one of our course advisors. We're only happy to help you and guide you through through your next step here. If this is something that you are seriously considering about and you find all this useful and this is the direction that you want to take, reach out to us. We're here to help. Intake is around the corner. Our next intake now is in May. By this time next month, it would be your first week of your studies, and that's super exciting to think about. So the close date would be on the 8th of May. But if you find that Ikon is the direction you want to go and this is the course that you want to do, reach out to us. Let's get it started. And our job is to make it as smooth as possible for you. So hope to see you very soon. Damien, any last minute thing that you want to mention?
No, I think you've covered it all. So
Thank you
thank you
so
for joining
much.
us.
Thank you. Annie, did you want to say anything else?
All good, thank you.
All good. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, reach out to us. Happy to help you. And hopefully speak to you over the next few days. Have a good evening.